Hello all, this is my second time filming this. I'm here to do a interactive notebook update for you. As you can see, I've added my little Think Geek sticker from a gift I got this past week from Think Geek. So here he is, Think Geek. And when you open up the notebook, my kids all have a copy of my syllabus in a trifold brochure. That way they can never say they didn't know what my expectations are, how things run, and all that wonderful stuff. They did their cover sheet and then their grading rubric. This grading rubric is available in my TPT store for math as well as all other subjects. You can see that there's 20 points up here at the top available, and then they have 3 extra points available. My rule on this, because total score is 20, unless they get all 20, they can't get the extra credit. Now, for my resource class, I do allow the extra credit even if they don't have all the basics. Here is our table of contents, and you can see we have done so much already. We are currently on page 45 tomorrow. So, we're already on that second page, and my kids are already like, Miss S, do you really think this will last us till Christmas? I don't know. Then we have their star reference chart, and we just folded in the ruler on the edge, and on the back is the formula chart, and again, the ruler's folded in on the edge. They listed a 7 math goals for this year because they are 7th graders. And then they have a multiplication chart for reference. And then we started Unit 1. All of my unit pages, I give them a unit cover sheet that they're able to color. I had done these prior this summer, so mine are a little bit different. And then we started talking about how to solve word problems with technical reading strategies. Both of these are available in my TPT store. And then the first page after our unit starts is always our vocabulary. These are our Frayer models. They're a little bit different than a regular Frayer model. They are done diagonally. So I think it makes it a little bit different, and the kids really like it, and it adds to the whimsy of it. So we have a color for each unit. The first unit was green. I think I stopped right about there because I started doing them on big sheets so they could see. But I need to get this caught up. And then we moved on to comparing and ordering. These notes all of these products are available in my TPT store for various prices and in various different ways. Some of them are available in bundles. Like I bundle each unit together. So like everything we did for Unit 1 is also available all together at a reduced rate. Here is our converting rational numbers flippable. Now with my regular students, I did the flippable by hand and we wrote everything out, and it was a nightmare because it took forever. Because we started with a blank sheet. So for when I did it with my resource students, I had the template already made and all of the notes already made, and then we just had to match them in the right location. So that really, really helped. Here was their fraction, decimal, and percent conversion chart they got to use for practice after they had made their flippable. Benchmark number lines. This has really helped my students be able to see if a number is closer to 0 or 1, or even changing this to the first number and the second number and seeing where it would fall in between those. Square roots, when we started talking about those, we did some notes and we did some perfect squares, and then we did models, and they got to put little post-it notes on top of it so then they could review themselves. And we talked about estimating square roots, and that's where we use our folded number line. It goes 1 through 100 and we tape it together. And underneath here are the steps on how to estimate approximate a square root. And then they had a formative assessment over ordering rational numbers. This is where we did the rational number show off, and they got a card with a certain amount of numbers on them. They had to convert them all to the same, then put them on a benchmark number line and explain to me what they did. Unit 2 moves into number operations, more vocabulary words, Frayer model style, equation. My kids really like that they're able to fit so many on one page. Some of them even cram 4 on a page, but they don't title it then. I like to have it the title. The sea of zeros, this I got from Math Equals Lug blog, and what my students did was when we were introducing positive and negative numbers, they got to work with them. I gave them counters, red and yellow punched out circles, and we put negative sign on the red ones and a positive sign on the yellow ones. And they just store them in an envelope to be able to use them at their will. Sorry that it's out of focus. Don't know how to fix that. Okay, it should focus back in on its own. Let's hope. I'm trying to get it to refocus. There we go. Here is our positive and negative rules flippable. All of these templates are available in my flippable template pack, but I also provide them already pre-made. And then we did some practice down below, and I started writing their post-it prove it in my journal. That way I didn't have to refer back to my lesson plan when I was working. Order of operations notes. These are available in 2 different formats. The other format has a word bank right there, so you know what all words go in the blanks. And there's also an answer key with it now as well. These are available in the one-step equations and algebraic expressions pack. We talked about number operations and the keywords that go with each. And then we simplified expressions for like terms and unlike terms. And again, post-it prove it, and we did an example of strawberries, kiwi, and bananas. Comparing and solving equations, I got this also from Math Equals Love. And what my kids did was they went through and they wrote 8 different equation problems, you can see. Then they went around and had them solved by their friends, and they checked the work. I have redone this for next year because doing 8 was a little too much right as we were learning one-step equations, and some of these are even 2-step equations. I've broke it down into a 4 quadrant. So there's an addition problem, a subtraction problem, a multiplication problem, and a division problem. And those are available with this pack as well. We went into multiplying fractions with models. I have the fraction grids available in this unit for use, because then we went on to just a little bit more practice. We did 3 together, and then they did 3 on their own. And then we went back through and reviewed the steps and put those in our flippable with examples. And again, they're post-it prove it for it. And I have a packet of a lot of post-it prove it's coming up. I'm trying to break this down for each section. Then we went into division of fractions the next day. We talked about reciprocals and what that means. I really like to use color to show the different things. I always try to write my main problem in one color and then write how I worked it in a different color so they can see the changes. Then we went through and we kept track of our steps for dividing mixed numbers. And they did some practice problems the next day. Our It's a Party project, they did their planning and requirements in here. And this is where we're going to put It's a Party. I had a different activity planned that we didn't get to, and so we were going to put it there. But we have just started Unit 3 on proportions, and that is their cover sheet. All of their lovely vocabulary words, and you're starting to hear them come in from lunch. Then we've moved on, and we did a lesson the first day all about ratios, simplifying ratios, and comparing ratios. That way they have notes in an organized manner as well as detailed information, and we worked the problems out together. We moved on to ratios and unit rates, where we went shopping for some apples, and we got to see which price of apples was the better deal, and then tell us why and how did we decide. And then we did a try it out, where they got to find their pulse, and then they got to convert it from 10 seconds that we did it together all the way up to a day and look at different ratios and how they are written. Okay, and then also last week we went into what proportions were. So we went from ratios to proportions. I had them brainstorm first what they knew about proportions and what that word meant to them. We went through and we talked about the 2 different ways to find out if things were proportional by using common denominator and cross products. And then we took it a step further and did a word problem comparing the ratios of 8 servings versus 12 servings of something and determining if the ratios were proportional. Friday, we talked about writing proportions, and I actually left my notebook home that day, so I had already had that part done, but I left it at home, and so I had to do it with my kids, just like they do if they leave their notebook at home. It is write it on a sheet of notebook paper and glue it in. So I do it for 3 different classes, so I've got 3 different examples. So we wrote out a word problem. Then we used that word problem to do WAKU, which is the way that I learned a few years ago how to write and solve proportion problems, which is word ratio, known ratio, unknown ratio. So we use that word problem to find our word ratio, our known ratio, and then eventually our unknown ratio and showed our work. My students are already flipping back to this and using it as a reference. So this was another class. They did oranges and apples of 2 kids that went to the store. And then this one, Brianna and Casey compared their rabbits to their dogs. So again, we're comparing rabbits to dogs, 3 to 4. We show our scale factor, which they haven't learned yet, but they're going to learn that this week. They can come in if they'll come in quietly. I'm almost done. And then today we did solving proportions and breaking it down step by step from a word problem. So I gave them a word problem. We used our technical reading strategies to find the important parts. And we broke it down into identifying what we were doing, constructing our proportion, writing what we needed to find, and then we solved it in 2 different methods, so that also allowed them to check it. Tomorrow we're going into doing making similar figures into a 3-flap mini book, and I've actually got that right here. This is my rough that you see in here, and I was getting down all the information that I wanted to put together. And so what I've done for them is they'll have a pink mini book tomorrow, and I have typed out all the information, and as well as their try it, and they will put these all in the correct order and then be able to work it as they go. So that is an update on my interactive notebook for regular 7th grade math. I will have another video soon with my interactive notebook update for resource math. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.